Hello. Before we start today's episode, if you would like a condensed version of what I'm talking about in this podcast, go ahead and subscribe to the Perfectionist Guide. You can read the entire thing in 3 minutes or less. To access this, go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/newsletter. Are you a bit of a perfectionist, type A, hyper performer? Then you know that having the audacity to see an ideal and bring it into reality while breaking generational habits of hustle can be tough, but it doesn't have to be. If you are ready to burn bright instead of burning out, to lead without losing yourself, and to enjoy the life you have worked so hard to create, then keep listening. I'm your host, America's leader on rewiring perfectionism, CLG, and this is Perfectionism Rewired, the podcast. Welcome to Perfectionism Rewired. Today we are diving into what is a perfectionism coach, why you might want a perfectionism coach instead of a general life coach, a therapist, a counselor, a group coaching program, a plan, a book, a course, so you can avoid imposters. When you're thinking about choosing a resource to support you with your perfectionism, here's what I want you to think about. Your perfectionism is personal. Think about how long have you been struggling with it? Probably your entire life. How much frustration and anxiety have you dealt with because of it? Do you really want to read another book or join another program where someone is copy pasting what worked for their own perfectionism, where you are shoehorning yourself to fit someone else's mold? Okay, so just some questions for you to think about. So first, let's talk about general life coaches, therapists, and counselors. I am not throwing shade on anyone. I actually recently just got my official California counselor accreditation. You can find me on psychologytoday.com in their directory. I am not throwing shade on anyone who is a straight up therapist or life coach. It's fantastic that they are helping people, and they can be super passionate about perfectionism, but they don't know the intricacies of how people who have grappled with perfectionism all of their life, they don't know what that inner experience is like. And they are clueless about the nuances that exist beyond what they've read in a book or a clinical study. And you know this because they'll say things like, well, did you try to follow your plan? Did you try to be less of a perfectionist this week? Did you do B- work? I would never, ever say that to a client. What I'm interested in knowing as a perfectionism coach is tell me about your week. Tell me about your key pillars. Can you show me your game logs? Let's figure this out together. Now, you've also got your group coaching for perfectionism and for perfectionists, and you also have Get Coached by the Life Coach School, where the majority of the time, and I know with perfectionism courses that offer group coaching, unless you pay a lot of money to work with the face card of the program, so Brooke Castillo, you have to either wait your turn on group coaching calls to have the hopes of getting coached by them. And a lot of times being on those group coaching calls, other people's problems can infect your own thinking. And it can also trigger you. You're like, oh, I didn't think that was a problem. Because let's say you didn't get called on for group coaching. One thing they tout in group coaching programs a lot of the time is they're like, it's so great that you don't even need to raise your hand for coaching and you can still benefit from the other person's coaching because what they're struggling with is what you're struggling with. And yes, that is true. But also the coaching, it's not one size fits all. This has happened to me in group coaching programs where I didn't get coached. And so I took the coaching that someone else got and ran with it. And then the coach who's leading the program was like, CLG, why are you doing that? And I'm like, oh, well, this is what you coached Emily on. And they were like, yeah, but that's not what's best for you. But it's like, well, how would I know that? Because I didn't get coached. And in these bigger programs, if you do get a coach, your coach is a bot. It is either a little robot person somewhere software that has been pre-programmed with answers based on keywords and phrases. Or what I've heard from my own clients who have signed up for perfectionism group coaching programs, or they signed up for the life coach school, Get Coached, when they come inside Perfectionist Solutions, or they join the Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator, they're like, now this is what coaching is. They said what I had before was someone who I would meet with for 15 minutes a week. They were told a script of what to ask me to try and fit and model what was happening within my life. All of these people and programs have good intentions. They want to help, but perfectionism is so individualized and misunderstood. It is so deep. It goes beyond just needing to be told what to think or to stop procrastinating. In fact, a client this week posted in the accelerator, he said, I didn't think I was a perfectionist. He said that he was really stressed about not being able to do his morning routine while on tour. And he said a part of him was thinking that if I did each part perfectly, then I could finally relax and enjoy the moment. He said that he realized I was holding off on fully living my life on tour and enjoying the present moment until I earned it. He said, CLG, like I've never been someone who needed my desk to be perfectly clean, but when you said that the raw formula for perfectionists is the same, that you get separated from your self-worth, you believe that it hinges on something outside of you, and then you start trying to compensate for something that you don't need to compensate for. Like you're trying to earn something that already belongs to you. Instead of leveraging your power, you double down on superficial control. He said that he didn't realize how controlling I was. I didn't realize how I used control as my release for the pressure I felt every day. I didn't realize that I was putting a lot of pressure on a fucking morning routine to get me through my workday until I didn't have it anymore. The only way that I was able to see that was because I know what to look for as a perfectionist coach who's lived it, who's been a perfectionist my entire life. Because on the surface, he was getting everything done. He was putting points on the board in the perfectionism game. Like everything seemed fine. And so when you are picking a resource to support you, I want you to think about the value of having a coach who has lived it, who is walking the walk and can see through your presenting perfectionist tendencies. I can only speak for myself. It is a personal experience when you are inside of Perfectionist Solutions or the accelerator. Everything is customized to you. So I boiled it down to 3 key things that a perfectionism coach does for you that no other kind of coach, therapist, counselor, book, or course could ever do for you. Number 1 is a perfectionism coach has X-ray vision. We get to the root of the root of the root of the root, like neuroplasticity, the way that you are wired. This is important because courses, books, therapists, group coaching programs, non-perfectionism coaches, they don't notice when you are secretly worried that you're not getting it right. They don't know how to help you break out of your pinhole perspective because they don't notice that you're even in it. As perfectionists, we are phenomenal at going through the motions. We can dial it in. We can do what we need to do. Most of the time, we don't share the awful soundtrack that is running through our heads, not because we're ashamed of it, because what we've been accustomed to, we put up with it. We think it's normal. I remember I always heard, and this was, I'm a master certified coach many times over. And so they always told me in all of my programs that like your mind thinks negative thoughts, your brain's an asshole, just ignore it. So I never thought to share with my coach what was happening inside of my mind. And it wasn't until I said something and she was like, how many things do you criticize that you're doing each day? And so she had me go through this exercise and I realized it was like, that's all that I did. So much energy was leaking because I was just critiquing every little thing that I did. If you don't have a perfectionism coach, you don't have anyone who is there to witness your patterns, to notice them, and to help you break them. Number 2, a perfectionism coach leverages their own perfectionism to your ultimate benefit. When you are getting surgery, if you are getting your house cleaned, if you are getting your car repaired, like the brakes on your car repaired, you want a perfectionist for that job. That's who you want to hire. You want someone who is in a league of their own, who cares as much about it as you do, who is going to do more and go above and beyond, not because you need to pay extra, not because you asked them to or you urged them to. It's because that is just who they are as a perfectionist. They want to bring the ideal into the real. And they have learned to channel the relentless obsession, the overthinking, oh, we could do it this way, and challenging themselves into their profession. Like if you want modern, cutting edge, tip the arrow, creme de la creme, battle tested, hire a perfectionist. You're going to get 1,000 times the value back for whatever it is that you choose to invest. And with a perfectionism coach, because they are a perfectionist, they're not giving you theory or cookie cutter. They are legitimately thrilled by the challenge of figuring out what your specific path to power and pieces. A perfectionism coach is also super adept at helping you see possibility, being able to help you think about, okay, I get all of that happened, but let's focus on this right here. If you could do something right now, what would it be if you weren't worried about that? Like perfectionism coaches, we know how to ask superior questions that get you into a different perspective and thinking about where you want to go and up-leveling your vision instead of like what went wrong, what's bothering you right now. That is not something that a therapist does. A therapist is trained to look into your past and to get you more into the feelings and the theory. Also, a lot of the time, perfectionists, we don't want help because we think that makes us weak. We think that we shouldn't need help. Or a lot of times we're looking for the wrong kind of help because we have misdiagnosed our own problem. And we are scared of what someone else might think if you are candid about what was going on inside. Like as perfectionists, we are ferocious. We are extreme. I've shared this on an earlier podcast episode. Like I would get so overwhelmed when I was living in San Francisco, working 80, 100 hours a week at Edelman in PR, that several times I threw away all of my dishes. I didn't have a dishwasher. I was mortified to hire someone to help me with that. I thought that I shouldn't need help with this. A cleaning person would judge me because I was judging myself so much. And that the best thing to do would be to just throw out all of my dishes that are dirty and just buy new flatware from Williams-Sonoma. I didn't tell anyone that because it was something that's like, Courtney, you should be able to do this. It's not just like having a safe space because that's a therapist or whatever but someone who can like relate and be like, I get it. I get it. Also know how extreme we can be. And they're also not scared, right? Because perfectionists, we have extreme thoughts like suicide ideation. They know how to deal with that. They're not all of a sudden like, uh-oh, suicide or uh-oh, depression. I can't handle that. Like they understand the nuances of it. And like what I want for you is I want you to be able to feel good. I want you to be able to feel in control. I want you to know that you can do anything that you desire. And I want you to look forward to your life and not wonder when you're actually going to be able to start enjoying it. A perfectionism coach can cut through the mental bullshit that you are telling yourself because most often what you believe are facts about your life aren't actually the facts. We help see your shit better than you do because when you're in the middle of your crap, it feels real. It does. And we challenge all of the bullshit worries and fears and frustrations that come up as humans instead of challenging. Like I'm talking about your innermost fears and worries. What we'll do is we believe them and we think that they're true because they feel so true. And we are not equipped with how we would deal with that if that outcome actually happened. So we hide from it and we avoid it. I had a coaching client this week who said, I'm worried that if I stop being the one who does everything around my house, if I stop playing the role of the martyr, my family won't love me anymore and they will leave. And this client was very certain that like this is going to happen. We went into like, oh, all right, well, let's talk about it. Let's just imagine that you did stop being a martyr and doing everything. Like, how would that change the relationship? We kept questioning it and questioning it. And we got her to a place where she felt secure in not doing everything around the house anymore. We got there because as perfectionism coaches, we know how to ask you questions that you don't know how to ask yourself because you believe so much of what is going on inside of you. And when you're asked the right questions, you stop and you level up your perspective. It's like you were in the basement and now you are in the penthouse suite. And you're like, well, wait a minute, let me think about that. The last thing a perfectionism coach does is that it highlights the moments that you're missing. So many of you are doing amazing in your life, but you're missing it. Like you're missing what is right in front of your face. And perfectionism coaches, we don't let you miss it. We will remind you of it, even when it feels painful and scary, to let yourself feel that joy. We believe in you, not your bullshit, because we know your potential. We've been you. I know exactly what it's like to wake up every day and do just a little bit better than the day before and still think it's not good enough and to go to war with the terrorist in my head. Like, for all of you, I want you to find a real perfectionism coach. I want every perfectionist to get the support that they deserve to flourish, every single one of you. And some of you are using this podcast as your perfectionism coach. I am super honored to have you here. And some of you need more focused attention. You crave structure. You need that dopamine so that your neurodiversity will stay engaged. You need everything laid out for you so you can stop thinking about, okay, what do I do next? And if that is you, I would love to have you. Like, why struggle? I've done the heavy lifting for you. I'd love to have you. And I want you to stop hiring jackasses who are phony balonies, who are not addressing what's really going on underneath the presenting perfectionism. Perfectionism is very powerful when you know how to leverage it. If you are interested in hiring a perfectionism coach and getting specialized 100% customized to you help so that perfectionism is no longer a problem for you, go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/accelerator. There is also a link in the show notes.